Hello mathematicians, hope by the end of this video and getting a little bit of practice you can say I can simplify radical expressions that include addition and subtraction. Let's look at an example here. So we're given the square root of 48 minus the square root of 12 minus the square root of 108. So our first step is going to be simplifying all of these radicals. I'm going to do it off to the side just so I have a little bit of scratch work. If you can see them, it might not be necessary to do it off the side, but I'm going to do that for now. So I'm talking the square root of 48. So let's think of factors of 48 that include perfect square roots. So we know that the square root of 48 is equal to the square root of 16 times 3. And 16 is a perfect square root. And the square root of 16 is 4, so this is equal to 4 times the square root of 3. So the square root of 48, so let's write 4 square roots of 3 right here. And well, we also know, let's simplify the square root of 12. Well, the square root of 12 now, well, that's equal to the square root of 4 times 3. And 4 is a perfect square. So this is equal to, and the square root of 4 is 2, so we get 2 square roots of 3. So we get minus 2 square roots of 3. And lastly, we get the square root of 108. This one might be a little bit trickier. Being that these are both square roots of 3, we're going to want this to be divisible by 3. And well, we see that if we take 108 and divide it by 3, we get 36. So we know the square root of 108 is equal to the square root of 36 times 3. And the square root of 36, well, that's just 6. So we get 6 square roots of 3. So over here, we're going to write plus 6 square roots of 3. Okay, and we can see that they all include this square root of 3. So we can think of this as they're like terms. They all are attached to a square root of 3. So what we're going to do is, in thinking of those terms, let's say they're kind of like a variable. If we're use that comparison, we're just going to add the coefficients together. So in this case, we're going to just add the numbers in front of the radical symbols, add or subtract, I should say, I guess. So when we do that, we're going to get, well, 4 square roots of 3 minus 2 square roots of 3. Well, that's going to be 4 minus 2 is 2, so we get 2 square roots of 3 plus 6 square roots of 3. Well, we know that 2 plus 6, that's going to give us 8. So we get 8 square roots of 3. And this is going to be our final answer right here. So if we got the square root of 48 minus the square root of 12 plus the square root of 108 is equal to 8 square roots of 3. So that's it for a video. I hope after watching this and getting a little bit of practice, you can say I can simplify radical expressions that include addition and subtraction.